Do you believe there is truly inexcusable behavior? Nobody is perfect. If we realized that in forgiving others, your enemy didn't deserve forgiveness, but rather that you needed peace, would things be better? Are you sure you can really join our experiment in such an unstable situation? Michelle, let me cut to the chase. We are performing experiments that may go directly against the head's ideals. If your beloved parents or your precious friends try to coax you, are you confident that you'd be able to refuse them? She wasn't able to say anything to my browbeating. Carmen broke the silence instead. Don't be too harsh on her. She's amazing to be here at such a young age. Just like everyone else, Michelle liked Carmen. That was not trickery or a show. She wasn't the manipulative sort of person who would keep up such a facade either. I should have made her give the answer she avoided speaking no matter what. Did Michelle receive what she wanted? I don't know. Did she accomplish her purpose by trampling on us and Carmen? I'll never know. Do I have any right to bear hatred towards her? The answer was no. I was no different from her. To be honest, I never wanted you to die in misery, like that nasty tabloid article gossiped. Were you able to successfully face yourself, manager? When I awoke to find myself here, I thought this could be my second chance. I thought I could redeem myself and liberate myself from my mistakes. What I did can never be undone. A sunken pebble can never float to the surface again. I wanted to be a kind person. I wanted to show everyone that I might be okay here somehow. Was I truly being considerate of others? Silly me, there's no room for considering something like that here. I reinserted a word for no reason. I was a hypocrite. All those nice acts are for myself. I'll keep trying to be a better person, even now. It may be specious, and some people may hate me for that, but as long as my efforts can save a person's life or give a person the consolation they need, I will live on, with that pride as a stepping stone. So, manager, let's keep trying together in this interminable hell. And so Hod vows to be a good person, and not just to make amends for her past wrongs. She's no longer gonna push her ideals on the employees. She's just gonna try to make life better for them. What a good character arc moment. And we have received the hope to be a better person, setting our speed of light at 20%. Hey, are you listening to me? I yearn to help people. No, becoming a wing is not my goal. Well, everyone says that, but let me put it this way. What use are wings if you can't fly? What if we could reach the sky without wings? What I mean is, if we grow the stalk straight up like a tree, we could reach the sky for sure, even if it would be a slow climb. Can you feel it? The sunlight here is very warm. Sometimes, I dream about photosynthesis, lying down comfortably with my eyes closed, just soaking it up. I close my eyes, basking in the sunlight's warmth. Be honest with me, man. You're not coming to these meetings with me for praise, are you? Aren't you sick and tired of this? You'll do something great tomorrow, yet again, though it won't be anything all that great, and Miss Angela and the other Sephiroth will shower you with compliments. We'll have another accident in my department. A couple will fall down and die, some will go nuts, and a pile of them will get injuries they'll never recover from. Hod will try and cheer me up. Yesod will lecture me about what regulations I didn't follow. Malkuth will try to encourage me, lively as usual. Let's try harder tomorrow! Nobody will say that to my face, that it's my fault, but it'll be clear as day that I'm responsible for all of it, surely. My day always repeats like that. Starts with death, ends with death. Every employee here regularly receives a small dose of a certain drug. Did you know that? It helps them become desensitized to everything. Just think about it. If your good old lunchmate is found dead, torn into thousands of pieces, who in the world would be able to clean up his dead body without a single drop of emotion? Could you blame them? Would you call them cowards for depending on drugs? Everyone's just trying to escape from this reality in their own ways. They might look and pretend to be okay, but nobody really is. I keep thinking about how I can off myself. I know, it's like a metaphor. Death for us is a hypothetical concept. I heard injecting substances like enkephalin into machines will slowly but surely rust them. Then, maybe I could chug a whole bottle into my body? Give myself irreversible damage? Funny, I just injected myself with a way more enkephalin than I usually do. Even my mind is clearer than ever. Hell, I feel completely lucid right now. If I were to open my eyes again, maybe it'll be somewhere without you, those other Sephiroth, or that Angela. It hasn't been fun. Let's never meet again. We began our research on Cogito in earnest. The most urgent issue that prevailed at the time was the correct dosage. I tried to persuade people. I told them we have to proceed with the experiment in order to save Carmen and the others. Everyone fell silent when I asked for volunteers. Then one man quietly raised his hand. It was Giovanni, who had kept to himself for most of his time here. Giovanni was one of the patients from Carmen's company. I heard they had known each other since childhood. There is no such thing as a noble sacrifice. The end is always miserable, no matter how justifiable a cause it might be for. My statement that this experiment could bring back Carmen must have been the strongest motivation that drove him to the volunteer. An experiment to find the proper dosage of a drug is not something that can be done in just a trial or two. I have never talked with him much. We had nothing in common, other than our acquaintance with Carmen. Cogito emaciates the boundary of a human, and repeated experiments will leave an indelible mark. Inject Cogito. Well, it seems like you did alright. Looks like you're not as useless as they say. Try not to overdo it though, okay? Manager, you've accomplished quite a few things already. What you've already gotten through will have lengthened the lives of our employees by at least some degree. So, you should hopefully be satisfied now. It's not that I can't see from your point of view. You came to Lobotomy Corporation, and you probably want to put forth your best effort to mold this place into something better. But this place is just like a cup of coffee gone cold ages ago. I get that it's a strange comparison, but that's how it is for me. It'd be better off for all of us if in the end, if I were to at least feign our noble and benevolent posture, now wouldn't it? The same goes for you, manager. I said it before, there's no need to invest your emotions and effort into such drivel. I'll ignore that. Alright, suit yourself, Mr. Passionate. I will say that I'm curious how long that fire in your heart will last. I'll get going now. I'm actually quite busy, even though I seem relaxed. Lady Angela, please have a look at this. I spent the whole night researching an efficient method to improve the welfare of our employees. Heh, that's funny. Just look who's talking. And it's the same thing, but a shorter time limit, and we will still be doing another meltdown tomorrow. Ha, ha, ha. We have HOD synchronization complete, so now, every time we hire an employee, all of their stats will start at level 3. We can lower their stats manually if we want, which is nice if we want someone to work with Scarecrow or Woodsman. This is a very, very strong upgrade, and that's why I did HOD first on my first playthrough, because I was not flying blind. It's also why I wanted to do HOD even though I knew it would be tougher. Also because Chesed's missions are just getting shorter and shorter. That also. Chesed's research is HP recovery and SP recovery bullets. They're less efficient than shields, right? They restore 25 as HP or SP, and with his third upgrade, I have a mod to fix a glitch that makes it do nothing. With this mod, it makes it restore 40. The shield bullets block 50, so they're still slightly less efficient. However, I do tend to use healing bullets more than shield bullets because I'm an idiot, so... yeah. We will take the HP bullets because HP kills, obviously. That is the trend. Welcome back to the Lobotomy Corporation. We just, as you probably noticed, we have Malkuth's Meltdown and HOD's done. We're moving down the line to Yesod. Showing off about HOD's bonus with new Agent Shepard, just hired. Agents start at level 4 now with HOD's bonus, as long as you don't rank them down. So Junk, Sangman, and Alex are already immediately outclassed. F. I'll just give him basic, whatever's left over for gear. We are in kind of a gear crunch right now, just because I thought enough cherry blossoms. Just because we need we don't have the gear from like anything in these two in welfare, and we probably won't get it for a bit just because of Chesed's missions. Other than that, just another meltdown while we're doing Chesed at the same time, so I can't focus the new stuff. You know how it be. Good bird is a Wa abnormality, does black damage. It prefers attachment as well, which makes it a very good attachment trainer. It can also be used to train instinct, however its insight and repression rates are not good. It has a cool thought counter of 5, which lowers when on a bad result or every time 5 employees die. This second trait makes it part of the number of clerks' rights abnormalities, as it cares about the clerks. We could kind of ignore them safely prior to this. Now if they die, we run the risk of Big Bird breaching. Its cool thought counter does increase on good work, so it's the most forgiving of them though, and it's pretty high at 5. It has a lot of HP when it breaches, but it doesn't do damage like normal things do. Instead, every so often it will shake its lantern, enchanting a random employee. The enchanted employee has a limited amount of time to escape from Big Bird, and if they do not escape the department that Big Bird is in, they will be forced to move to Big Bird and instantly killed by Big Bird. Big Bird is invincible while it is doing this as well. To suppress it, you have to wait for it to, after it shakes the lantern, you must have all of your employees retreat, otherwise the possessed one will die immediately if they're a melee character. Amazing. Its equipment is both of its main equipment pieces are pretty good though, as its suit is very strong and has a 0.4 against black. Its only weakness is impale, which doesn't typically pop up. Its weapon is slow, but it has a chance of making the target it hits more vulnerable to black damage. However, you only get 1 copy of each of these. Its weapon is part of a trio of weapons that increase the type of damage they do. It's the black one. It's kind of the least useful of the 3 because it fires slowly and you only get 1 copy. But, I mean, it's nice to have. And its gift is nothing worth noting. It exists. Overall, Big Bird is a very good pick, especially because it allows us to do shenanigans now that we have all 3 of the birds. Welcome to me doing the Yesod suppression. Also known as the second easiest suppression in the game. Which is probably not the way you want to start this. I don't really care. I'm saying my honest and true opinions. I don't know. Moving B and Aaron up to the second level just so they can walk to Big Bird faster because Chesed. I don't normally do that. I'm just trying to make sure I stay well under the time limit here. You might have noticed the UI is pretty screwed up. We can't see agent names on the health bars, and all the UI text is blurred. That is the effect of Chesed suppression. It's a test of how well you know your agents in your facility. Without being able to see the numbers in the health bar, you don't know how much health your agents have, aside from just a general idea. So how do you know how to handle the threats? I think the idea. But like, it's pretty easy to remember your agents. I think this is also why the zero-cost customization mod that I'm using is technically cheating, but like, even when I didn't have it on in my first playthrough, I still was able to tell who all my workers were, and I remembered what their stats were. You can also still see the difference between very high and high in all the different text, because it's not blurred too much. So like, even if you don't know your facility super well, you don't know what's the best work types for everything still by this point somehow, you can still just look. Like, it's not super tough. I don't know. My strategy for this is basically the same as Malkuth and Hod, aside from just not doing the scouting meltdowns for Hod. Chesed just does not doing the Chesed missions at the same time as the meltdown just kind of means I can't really play super carefully, and it makes screw-ups more likely to happen, but honestly if I wasn't doing Chesed, this meltdown would be ridiculously easy. It's kind of negated by the difficulty. This one would be pretty tough though if you couldn't pause, because a lot of the difficult parts are just negated by the fact you can always just pause and zoom in, which reduces the effect of all the static or pixelation effect, whatever you want to call it. marking the information abnormalities just because they're safe to work on. And I want to rush through the melting levels as fast as possible for Chesed. There's going to be a violet dawn at the end. I know what the ordeals look like, just even their tiny blurred form. You can see that it's not the traditional meltdown icon there. Yeah, Big Bird's pretty easy to work with. Even we can't see success rates there. It's probably high for attachment, just because of their attachment stats and attachment's its best work. Red Noon's really annoying to get in this because it's hard to see where the ordeals spawn in. I would much rather it be something I could just ignore, like Green Noon. Or, not Noon. Red Dawn is really annoying on this. Bleh. Bleh. Crimson Dawn. Whatever you want to call it. I'd much rather it be Green Dawn or something I could just ignore. That's what I was trying to say. Like, purple is... Red is definitely the highest threat level for this specific suppression, then probably purple, and then green and amber, because you can just pretty much ignore them by this point. They're no longer a threat to anyone. And it tries to drain backwards clock of its PE boxes. Backwards clock doesn't have any. Bad job. Something broke out. I have no idea what it was right now. At least I'm assuming it's what it was, because we are in a first trumpet. And it was a Scarecrow, but I did not catch it at this point. I thought it might have been Snow White, which I was worried about. Because Snow White is a bit dangerous. But it was Scarecrow. And Scarecrow is not a bit dangerous. Considering we can literally solo him with Goomb. Which is not what I'm doing, because Goomb is working on just Judgment Bird right now. His best friend. They're staying glued together for at least all the suppressions. And you probably still have to stay close to it just in case it melts down. Because he's literally the only person who isn't weak to it. And because it does pale, we can't outstat it. If the Dawns get to a thing with a 1 counter like Scarecrow, it's really easy for them to let it out. Because they reduce the counter by 1 at a time. I don't even know if any clerks died to that though. Maybe some. 1 died to Scarecrow. But it would be, that's at least 4 more that would have to tick Big Bird's counter going down, and we're getting goods on it, so. We don't want Big Bird to get out because the odds are very high that Punishing Bird will get out. And if 2 of the birds get out at the same time, because we have all 3, something happens. We do want that something to happen eventually, but we don't want it to happen until we're prepared for it to. Having it happen during a suppression would be very, very bad. And I'll leave it at that. For like 5 or so days. However long it takes for what I wanted the birds for to pop up. I should probably stop talking about the bird event before I actually say what it is. It's kind of embarrassing that Void Dream killed someone in HUD suppression, but to be fair, I did forget that Void Dream even had an instant kill. Because I went so long without seeing it. Aside from when I intentionally triggered it. And much like HUD, when Yesod, it's even when you get even further into Yesod, the visual effect gets worse. Now there's screen tearing and even higher pixelation, and I have no idea where the Crimson Noon is. There it is. I thought I was going down into Central, so I was waiting for it to show up. It was not going down into Central. I'm literally just wasting my time, which is not good because I am timed right now. And I'm like, oh, it's not going down to Central. Amazing. You can kind of ignore Crimson Noon in, when you're doing Chesed stuff, because it's just one thing that's just walking around. And so I do for a bit. Unlike the Crimson Dawns, it doesn't lower the Quothoth counters of anything. All it does is just walk around the facility and do red damage, and then split into 3 Crimson Dawns. Honestly, I think Crimson Dawn's harder to deal with than Crimson Noon. Once you have, like, the stats for it. Like, yeah, it's the tankiest Noon, but, like, Crimson Dawn scales to your facilities. Crimson New does not. In fact, multiple times I have screwed up because I think that I used like every single shield blow on that clerk by accident because I meant to use the red ones. Scarecrow's melting down, which is unfortunate because we have people with 2 Prudence up in training, but they're up in training and they would walk past Crimson Noon, and also it might take them too long anyway to get there because they have great justice. So I'm just like, I'll just send someone to work with it and have somebody fight it if the day's still going on. Because you can just ignore meltdowns and rush through the day if you can't finish them, which we haven't had to do. The only meltdown I really didn't want to do was on what's his face? Old Faith, and it can't even melt down anymore. I can never remember its name. Eric's working on Scarecrow. He will be the fated one to let it out. Claude picked up the painting and went on the person behind new employee Shepard or Shepard. I can't really tell because screen bad. It's even harder for me to remember everyone's names when the screen's so blurred. I could barely see the Crimson Dawn heading to a fragment too. Christopher's murdering one because he got let out onto one. That's the one nice thing about rushing through meltdown levels like this, is that you'll occasionally do things like that, catch stuff by accident when you even see it. And when all your agents can kill Crimson Dawns by themselves, it's not like you have to worry about them. We would have had to if this was Hod's meltdown, but it's not Hod's meltdown. I was having Christopher work Little Red because I think it'd be funny for him to get her gift. It's honestly really hard to tell if anyone's even getting gifts today because I cannot see anything. But also Christopher needs instinct training. That too. His is not at the cap yet. The goal is to get everyone's stats to the cap, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that. I think Spiral's Temperance is capped. I'm just having him training because I don't know what to do with him. Among Us still has managed to not get today's Shadow Gift. Oh, and I finished the meltdown. Hopeful results. Okay, now it's time for the post-day wrap-up. And, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what the stat growths were here. Oh, Yesod. Yeah, his whole meltdown also affects the end-of-day screen, and also the pause screen if I paused. Also, fun fact. If Goom couldn't solo the Scarecrow and he would have died to it if he was fighting alone, he would have died in the menu and he would have been dead in the next start of the day, but he can solo the Scarecrow. I have gone through a bit of closer examination. I've determined with 95% certainty that this is a deathless run. I was pretty sure it was. I forgot what the day looks like, so I had to look it up, and I looked up a screenshot. That 01 is for promotions. Man, not being able to read is kind of screwing me over. Oh well. Yes, I would like to proceed to the next day. I do know where that is, luckily. Tool time. TO986. Oh hey, I'm not picking you. TO980. The tree simply re-promoted Yesod. I wouldn't like to pick you. TO982. It literally makes itself into the safest place on Earth. I will roll my magical D3 and ignore it if it rolls a 1. It rolled a 2, so I guess I'm taking good old this. And now it is time for clock lore. An old clock manufactured by an unknown company. Its vacuum tubes give off a vintage vibe. The manufacturer stopped making these clocks a long time ago. Is your future out totally grim? Have you hit absolutely rock bottom with not a single way out in sight? Have you ever thought, oh man, what if I'd done this instead of that? Humanity has conquered disease and nature. Now we've come far enough to harness time itself. Yes, we can rewind your wasted time. Just wind it up, close your eyes, and count to 10. When you open them, you'll be standing at the exact moment you wish to be in. Please read the manual thoroughly. You never know what the extremely high voltage discharge from the machine could do if it's handled poorly. You're not responsible for any accidents that occur from user error and carelessness. This clock requires a higher amount of energy to operate. Please understand it'll take a considerable amount of time to charge. What a beautiful story.